We talked about alignment, we talked about wheel lines, and in the surveying part we talked about alignment with wheel lines. We have to make sure they're as perpendicular to the main line as possible so they always match up to the valve going down the line. We also have to make sure that that mover runs true, runs perfectly straight. And we do that by cross measuring the wheels. So we have equidistant lengths on the cross measuring when we look at those wheels. So if we're looking at a top view of a mover, we've got a wheel with an axle between it here. Two more wheels over here. We're going to measure cross corners on these axles. We're going to put a tape here to here and take that measurement. Then we're going to take a measurement from here to here, and they better equal each other. When they equal each other, then we have the mover running square alignment. Then it's going to run perfectly square. Just like when you frame up a little anything, if you measure corner to corner, you get equal numbers, then you've got it square. So any of you done any carpentry work, built anything, that's how you have to square up a piece. Building the line, building a wheel line is kind of interesting. First of all, we talked about the fact you need to stake a line out. You need to stake it exactly 90 degrees from your main line. Set a row of stakes right in line with the valve, right down the line. Just every 100 feet or so, put a lath or a flag in the ground, and then you string your pipe out down that line. And the way you build these things is the pipe are all in, or the wheels are all in half wheels. You build them in halves. And then you set them on top of each other and bolt them, the two halves together to make a whole wheel. So the rims come as half rims. And then you put the spokes on them and you end up with half wheels. You set the half wheel out down the line, put the pipe on it, and then put the other half the wheel on top and bolt it down. So that's the technique that's used. And you best have an impact wrench with you. Because, yeah, you don't want to try to do this with a ratchet. You want to have power tools available. It really speeds up the process, right, Bob? Because you try to do this by a couple of box end wrenches or a ratchet and a box end wrench, you think that you went to hell and back before you're done. There are thousands of bolts to put together to make up one wheel line. So you best have some power tools out there with you. The main line connection, we talked about the fact that we can use the swing joint concept or the straight valve opener off the valve into a telescope or a hose. And the difference with the hose connector is that you have to put that hose banded onto steel couplers. And so you have to have a banding tool and band those things on, strap them on to the coupler with the regular hose adapter on the coupler that you slide the hose over, and then you need to put 2 or 3 bands on that hose, and it's a ridged coupler, and then the bands fit in the ridges and you get a nice tight seal that way. So that's a little twist. And the hose is generally lightweight, high pressure. They usually use PVC hose. It's the most common because it's the lightest weight for the pressure it can withstand. The outer pipes or outer ends of the line, the very last wheel out on either end. If you were just to put a single wheel all the way out the machine, out here on the end, you got a wheel, a wheel, a wheel, a wheel, a wheel, a wheel, and then this last pipe, here would be the couplers in between. This last pipe's out here. If you just put one wheel in the middle, what happens is this thing droops. And it'll end up doing that. And you know, it sits in that position with a wheel line that sits in that position 24 hours a day. If you move it once a day for 1 minute, it isn't drooped in that position. Well, you know what happens over time, that pipe ends up staying drooped. And then all of a sudden you got a bent pipe. just out of the fact that it's been sitting there in that position. Over time it's taken a set and now it's droopy. So what you need to do out on this last joint is put 2 wheels on that thing. Come out here and put 2 wheels on it. Now it'll stay straight. On that last joint you put a double wheel. Costs you the price of a wheel, but it'll keep turning way better for you the life of the line. And you'll love yourself for doing that.